If you spend any time at all scrolling through the wellness side of the internet, you have definitely seen them. Those big tubs of pink, purple, or blue powders promising a little dose of calm. So today we are doing a deep dive into the source material behind all that. We're looking at calm magnesium powders, specifically the ones that are all about magnesium citrate. They've really become a staple. And for you, our goal is pretty simple. And we want to give you the critical insights and fast, so you know what this stuff does, but maybe more importantly, how to tell a high-quality, effective product from all the noise out there. We're talking about why the powder is so popular. Adjustable dosing, it dissolves fast, you can flavor it. It's all geared towards stress relief and, of course, better sleep.
Exactly. And because we're chasing those benefits, we really need to approach this with a critical eye. We're not just here to talk about the good stuff. We're framing this whole discussion through the lens of quality control, what's different in the formulations, and transparency in sourcing. Those things, they matter way more than the clever marketing.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Why magnesium citrate? Why did that one become the sort of the core active mineral for all these calm down formulas? What's it actually doing in our bodies?
Well, it plugs right into the central nervous system. Magnesium is it's a cofactor in hundreds of reactions, but its main job here is supporting neurotransmitter function, basically the relaxation pathways. It acts as a natural calcium channel blocker, and it helps regulate our GABA receptors.
GABA, right. That's the brain's main off switch, isn't it? The inhibitory one.
It's the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, yes. Think of it like the brake pedal for your brain. So by helping regulate those calming pathways, magnesium has a direct effect on perceived stress levels and on something called sleep latency.
Okay, hold on. For anyone who hasn't heard that term, what exactly is sleep latency?
Sleep latency is just the time it takes you to fall asleep after you turn the lights out. If it's too long, you're just tossing and turning. Magnesium can help shorten that window. It promotes the relaxation you need to actually doze off.
So magnesium is the key player. But why the big focus on citrate? I mean, there's so many other forms out there.
Right, and that's what we call the citrate advantage. It's really an issue of pharmacokinetics, how the body actually processes the compound. Magnesium citrate's chemical structure just enhances solubility and absorption way better than cheaper forms like, say, magnesium oxide.
It
means more consistent, reliable uptake. You can be pretty confident that the mineral you're taking is actually getting to where it needs to go.
And that reliability is a huge plus. But I know our sources mentioned a trade-off. If citrate is so good for absorption, why do we hear so much about other forms like magnesium glycinate?
That's the critical balancing act. Citrate is amazing for absorption, but it's not always the gentlest on your stomach. It can pull water into the colon.
Oh, right. That's why it has that laxative effect sometimes.
Exactly, even at lower doses for some people. So other forms, like glycinate, they're often much better tolerated, less likely to cause any digestive upset. So, if a brand wants maximum fast absorption, which is frankly easier and cheaper to market, they'll go with citrate. If they're focused on a sensitive user and want zero stomach issues, they might go with glycinate. The goal really dictates the form.
It does seem like the industry has landed on citrate for this powder format, though. And the formulas themselves, they're all following some pretty clear trends, right?
Oh, absolutely. The dominant trend right now is this huge preference for clean label formulations. Consumers are just incredibly savvy now about what's not in their product. We're seeing a big move away from artificial dyes, from sugar. So products are using natural flavors or natural sweeteners like stevia, maybe erythritol, or like in our brand A example, they're just completely unsweetened.
And the certifications are becoming a big deal.
A huge deal. Strong claims like USDA Organic or Non-GMO Project Verified are basically the new baseline. It's all about building that consumer confidence with total transparency.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for anyone trying to be a smart consumer or even for someone formulating a product.
Yeah.
How do you cut through all the marketing claims and spot real quality? What are the non-negotiable signs?
This is where we go from talking about product features to product integrity. And the gold standard, it really starts with third-party testing. You just can't take a manufacturer's word for it. You need proof. Specifically, you need to be able to see transparent certificates of analysis. We call them COAs.
And what's on a COA?
It should cover three critical things. One is potency, is the amount on the label actually in the jar. Two is heavy metals, checking for lead, arsenic, things you don't want. And three is microbiological content, making sure there's no harmful bacteria or mold. And if you see established seals like USP or NSF, that's an even stronger signal of quality manufacturing.
And label transparency, that's more than just a list of ingredients, isn't it? It goes deeper.
It really does. Complete transparency means listing all the inactive ingredients, the exact serving sizes, and, specifically calling out how much magnesium citrate is in there. If it's some kind of proprietary blend, they have to detail each component. And now it goes even further into the packaging itself. Consumers want to know if the plastic is recyclable, if the ingredients are ethically sourced. A good company should be able to show you that chain of custody. If they can't, that's a bit of a red flag.
So we've set the rules of the game. Now let's look at the players. We reviewed 4 different brands that are almost like archetypes. They show the different ways companies position these powders.
Yeah, these 4 really do a good job of summarizing the whole market and the choices you face. So, brand A. This is the benchmark, the original variant. It's a simple, no-frills product, very high payload of magnesium citrate, right around 600 milligrams per serving. And its key feature, it's unflavored, unsweetened.
Which makes it perfect for a specific kind of person, right?
Yeah, exactly. The unflavored profile is for someone who wants to mix it in their coffee or juice without changing the taste, or for someone who's just really sensitive to any kind of sweetener, even natural ones.
But there's a catch.
There is. This is where we see that transparency trade-off. The label is clear, but the third-party testing docs, they're described as limited in publicly available materials. You have to actually email them and ask for the full COAs. It's an extra step, and it really shouldn't be.
Okay, then we have brand B. This is the 2-for-1 approach. It's got magnesium, but also calcium citrate.
Right. It has a slightly lower magnesium citrate content, about 550 milligrams, but then it adds around 125 milligrams of calcium citrate. And they market this as a complete bone and nerve support formula. It comes in a lemon flavor, and this is important. They have easily accessible third-party COAs.
But you mentioned a potential issue with mixing calcium and magnesium together like that.
We did, and it's a huge caveat. Large doses of calcium, especially when you take them at the same time, can actually interfere with magnesium absorption. They compete.
So if you're taking it for the magnesium.
The 2-for-1 approach might be a false economy. You might be undermining the primary ingredient, and frankly, this blend is often chosen because calcium citrate is generally a bit cheaper to source than magnesium citrate.
Interesting. Okay, on to brand C. This one is all about purity priority.
It is. This one has the highest serving we looked at, around 650 milligrams of magnesium citrate, and its main selling point is the certification.
The organic one?
Correct. It stands out with the USDA organic seal. That credential just immediately elevates it and lets them charge a premium. They also provide really thorough labeling and have all their third-party testing docs ready to go. This is a brand that's making quality its entire argument.
And finally, we have brand D, the synergy strategy. This is the one positioned as a sleep blend.
Yeah, this is the value-add approach. It delivers about 600 milligrams of magnesium citrate, but the key feature is what they add to it. Synergistic ingredients like L-theanine, or maybe some botanicals like chamomile. L-theanine is an amino acid that helps you relax without making you drowsy. So the product claim gets much broader. It's not just calm, it's stress relief and sleep prep. It's designed specifically for evenings, and that positioning almost always commands the highest price.
So the big takeaway here is that higher certified purity, like brand C, or adding those extra active ingredients, like brand D, is what really drives the price up. Okay, we absolutely have to talk about the most important part of this deep dive now. The numbers. For anyone trying to manage their intake safely, what are the official guidelines? And what's the one critical calculation you need to know?
The official guidelines they're essential, especially with these high-dose powders. Now, when we talk safety, we are talking about elemental magnesium. The common serving range for elemental magnesium in these products is usually between 150 and 300 milligrams. The official adult dietary reference intakes, or DRIs, for magnesium are around 320 to 420 milligrams a day, and that's from all sources, your food, and any supplements.
Okay, and this is the detail we have to clear up right now. We just said brand C has 650 milligrams on its label. If the DRI is 420 and the tolerable upper intake level for supplemental magnesium is only 350 milligrams, that looks like a massive overdose.
And that is the crucial distinction you have to grasp to use these products safely. That 350 milligram upper limit applies to elemental magnesium, the active mineral itself. The 650 milligrams on the label is the weight of the whole compound, magnesium citrate. And chemically speaking, magnesium citrate is only about 11% elemental magnesium by weight.
Right. Okay, let's do the math on that for everyone. So if brand C has 650 milligrams of magnesium citrate, you're saying the elemental magnesium you're actually getting is 11% of that.
Exactly.
So that's what, about 71.5 milligrams?
Precisely. And when you look at it that way, a standard serving of these powders gives you a very safe and often needed dose of elemental magnesium. It falls well within that 150 to 300 milligram target, and critically, it stays way below the 350 milligram upper limit. Understanding that 11% conversion is probably the single most important detail for using this stuff responsibly.
That completely changes the risk perception. Okay, so assuming a person understands that math, what safety issues are left if they do push the dose too high?
The most common and immediate issue is still going to be gastrointestinal upset. Because of the citrate, taking too much can easily lead to loose stools, maybe some minor stomach issues. Our advice is always to start with a gradual titration. Start low and then slowly increase the dose day by day until you find that sweet spot, the desired effect without any digestive problems.
And what about more serious things like interactions with medications or certain health conditions?
Yes, that is a serious concern. Magnesium can interfere with the absorption of some really critical medications. For example, you have to separate your magnesium dose by several hours from certain antibiotics, like tetracyclines, and also from thyroid replacement meds.
Why is that?
They'll actually bind together in the gut, and it can make the medication ineffective. And even more important, we have to emphasize that your kidneys do all the work of processing and getting rid of excess magnesium. So people with any kind of kidney impairment, chronic kidney disease, or those who are pregnant or lactating or have other serious chronic conditions, they must talk to a medical professional before starting magnesium. That is absolutely non-negotiable.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a lot. We went through the science of absorption, the citrate advantage with its trade-offs. We established that you have to see those COAs in third-party tests. And we analyze how the formulas change, from unflavored to organic to those targeted sleep blends.
My final thought on it is pretty simple. Consumer motivation is clear. Better sleep, less stress. And these products can genuinely help fill a dietary gap. But regardless of the marketing angle, whether it's organic this or sleep blend that, your final decision has to come back to transparent labeling, third-party verification, and most of all, understanding that elemental magnesium calculation. That's how you get both quality and safety.
That clarity really does make all the difference. And it leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to consider. Brandy showed us the power of synergy by adding L-theanine. So where does the innovation go from here? Will we start seeing formulations that pair magnesium citrate with an ingredient that specifically counteracts that laxative effect? Creating a powder that's highly bioavailable but also universally gentle, solving that central drawback of citrate once and for all? Because that next leap in formulation could completely redefine this entire market.